Good evening and welcome to Harvesting Scholars presentation about financial aid and tips for finding scholarships. My name is Gloria Calhoun and I am the founder and executive director of Harvesting Scholars Educational Consulting and Scholars to Leaders Inc. It is my pleasure to speak to you tonight about financial aid, what it is, and talk a little bit about ways to pay for college. So thank you again for joining. Before we get into the presentation, I'd like to do an exercise with you to help break the ice a little and to get your minds going. So, of course, it's the year 2021. And for many of you, it's your senior year. It's time to start to really think about the future. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? So let's fast forward to the year 2031. By then, some of you may be 28, 27 years old. Pause for a moment and dream. Think about the type of life you would like to be living. What would you like to be doing in 10 years? Would it be a nice home and car? Do you want to have a condo on the beach of Miami? Really start to think about your future and what you'd like your life to be like. How do you plan to live? As you continue to dream a little, it's okay to take a deep breath and let your mind wander. Okay, well, we're back. We're back in the year of 2021. We're still in a pandemic, the year that you will be preparing to graduate. Still in COVID 19, still in a public health crisis, still at your high school. We are back to reality. What did you see in your future that can help you now in your decision for choosing a career or choosing a college? In order to achieve your level of success, and trust me, each person has their own idea of what success looks like. What type of educational requirement does that require? Do you need a certificate? Do you need a 2 year degree, 4 year degree, master's degree, specialist, doctorates? What do you need? Whatever you choose, and if any type of certificate or degree is something that you need in order to achieve your goals, then one thing is for certain, you've got to pay for it. It is not free. The decisions you make now affect the rest of your life. Always remember that you write the story of your own life. The decisions you make now will continue to affect you. So choose wisely. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. So, what is financial aid and why do I need it? In order to receive assistance with paying for college or to further your education beyond high school, it is necessary for some people to apply for aid or assistance with payments. There are many types of financial aid that we will go briefly over today, but if you have further questions, I encourage you to speak to your counselor, speak to a financial aid officer at the school that you're planning to attend. So the FAFSA, the free application for student aid. This gives access to federal grants, loans, work study programs. If you are an adult student or what we call a non-traditional student, you will apply for the FAFSA using the same application as any high school senior. Each year that you are in college and that you are seeking any type of financial aid, you will need to complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA opens each year on October the 1st. The deadline by which to apply varies by state. So pay attention to deadlines. Stay on top of when your FAFSA application is due. Research shows that students that complete the FAFSA within the first 3 months of its opening have access to more awards. Have you ever heard that saying, the early bird gets the worm? Well, in this case, sometimes it happens. Seniors, as you are preparing to complete the FAFSA, remember that you are applying for fall 22. So you will need to complete the taxes for that appropriate year. Currently enrolled students, pay attention to the date and which application that you choose when you prepare to complete the FAFSA. There are a few documents that you want to have on hand when you're preparing to complete this document. Your FSA ID, your social security number, federal income statements like your W-2s, tax papers. Have this information handy because there will be several questions on the FAFSA that will need this information. You can download an app. There's an app called Federal Student Aid. It looks a little bit like this. So you can download the app, or you can go to studentaid.gov to apply for the FAFSA and financial aid. And get a FSA ID. Parents that are watching, you will need one too. So although your student may complete the FAFSA on their own, you will still need to sign it, especially if they are a dependent student. So the FAFSA or the FSA ID is simply a unique username and password combination that is used to sign and access the FAFSA. You both will need to create one. Even if you think your income may be too high or that you won't receive any financial aid for other reasons, there are many factors that determine financial aid, and it's definitely worth a try filling it out just to see if you qualify for something. Again, the FSA ID is very important that you create one as soon as possible to avoid any delays. Some of the common mistakes that people make when they are completing the FAFSA is just not completing it. Other common mistakes are not filling it out as soon as it's available, not submitting the FAFSA form by the deadline, not getting the FSA ID on time, not proofreading. So avoid some of these common mistakes so that you're successful the first time as you prepare to complete the application. After your financial aid application has been processed, you will receive notification from the school. All those schools that you apply and get accepted to, they will send you a letter that will list the amount of award that you will receive. This will be based off of your EFC or your expected family contribution. Your EFC number or your expected family contribution will be assigned to you once you complete the FAFSA, and this will show up in your email very soon after you finish. Remember now, this is not the amount of money that your family will have to pay for college, and it's not the amount of federal student aid that you will actually receive. This is simply a formula that is used and that schools use to determine your financial aid package. Once your application is processed, you will receive something called a student aid report that will summarize the information that you provided on your FAFSA. So be sure to review the student aid report, make sure all the information is complete and accurate. If there is any missing or incorrect information, then you should correct it as soon as possible. FAFSA verification, well, what's that? The FAFSA verification. Being chosen to be verified, if you're selected for verification, it doesn't mean that you're in trouble at all. It does not mean that you did anything wrong. Verification is simply to confirm the numbers that you entered on your FAFSA match up with the original documentation. So a few helpful hints to help you navigate through the verification process. If you submitted your FAFSA information to multiple schools, so if you applied to 10 different schools and you listed those 10 schools in your FAFSA application, they each will receive your information. If you are selected for FAFSA verification, be sure to contact each one of them to make sure that you have the correct documents on file. Remember that this is time sensitive and you do not want to miss any deadline. Verification is the process that your school uses to confirm that the data that you reported in your form, your FAFSA form, is accurate. If you are selected for verification, you will receive a note or an email from your school that will request additional documentation that supports the information that was reported. So again, don't assume that you're being accused of doing anything wrong. In many cases, going through the verification process will not affect how much financial aid that you will receive. However, there is a chance that your financial aid package could change. So if this happens to you, make sure that you are in close communication with the financial aid office. There are different types of financial aid, and there's free money, there's borrowed money, and earned money. Free money would be considered dollars or money that you do not have to pay back. This would be like scholarships and grants, and we will talk a little bit later about scholarships and how to find those. Merit is based on academics and grades. Grants can be based on need, like the Pell Grant. Borrowed money, that's money that you have to pay back with interest. It is an investment in your future if needed to help pay back for your college education and expenses. And earned money is money that you actually work for, that you earn through a part-time job, that your parents pay out of pocket. If there's any type of 529 plan or college savings plan, these are considered earned money. In order to qualify for grants, some scholarships, and student loans, guess what you have to complete? That's the FAFSA. Make sure that you complete that FAFSA so that you can qualify for all that is due to you. When you are looking at federal loans and awards, there are three main ones that you may see. There's the subsidized loans, there's unsubsidized loans, there's federal work study, there are even Parent Plus loans. There are all types of loans, private loans. But what we are talking about today is subsidized, unsubsidized, and federal work study. Subsidized loans means that interest is paid by the education department while you are enrolled at least half-time in college. Unsubsidized means that interest is being charged to you. It's being accrued as soon as the loan is disbursed or given, including while you're enrolled in school. So one is while you're enrolled in school, you'll be charged interest. And the other, the education department will pay for that. Work study is a federal funded program that awards up to $3,000 per academic year for fall and spring, based on need as determined by the FAFSA, the free application for student aid. Your work study income does not count against your FAFSA or your financial aid award. Work study funds are not applied directly to your tuition. So your paychecks will not directly reduce your tuition costs. It's completely separate. So unlike other types of financial aid, work study earnings are not applied directly to tuition and fees, as I've just said. Students who are awarded work study receive the funds in a paycheck as they earn them based on your hours worked, just like a normal job. These earnings are meant to help with the day-to-day expenses that you may have and are not meant to cover large costs like tuition and housing. For more information about these types of federal loans and awards, about federal work study, contact your financial aid department. and they will be able to go into much more detail so that you are aware. Your financial aid package will go towards offsetting these costs or the cost of attendance. When you are figuring your cost of attendance, this is the average annual cost to attend a particular college or university. It includes tuition and fees in your direct costs. Indirect costs includes your books and supplies, transportation, miscellaneous expenses. Those put together equals your average cost of attendance. When we speak of indirect costs, these are extra college costs that aren't listed, like rents, if you rent an apartment or a house, or paying for any housing fees, gas for your car. You got to get back and forth to school, right? Books, groceries, transportation, extracurriculars. If you're going, if you're a part of different clubs and you need different uniforms or other supplies, or if you are trying out for any sports and there are extra fees, these are extra college costs that aren't listed. So it's important that you save up, and I want you to be prepared so that you're not surprised if there are any other costs that you have not planned for. So let's practice. I'm going to show you a college comparison worksheet called Big Future. It's by the College Board. Big Future, as I pull up this page for you, this is a way that you can begin to compare the cost of colleges. So if you think of your top 3 colleges that is on your list that you're applying to and you're hoping to be accepted to, one of the things that I want you to do is to do a comparison. So if I am thinking of, let's see, top 3 colleges, let's see, University of Alabama. Okay, well, I had it there, University of Alabama. And it will automatically pre-populate the school. Let's see, so we've got Alabama and Roll Tide, huh? Let's go to UGA. Let's see, the University of Georgia. Should be pre-populate in just a moment. University of Georgia. Keep typing. There it is. University of Georgia. Click on the University of Georgia and it will pre-populate. Then let's look at, how about Kennesaw State University? Since we're here in the state of Georgia, let's look at Kennesaw State University. So no matter where you are able to type in any college or university that you may be thinking about, your top 3, no matter where in the United States, and you'll be able to do this exercise. One of the things that I want you to see is, of course, with the college comparison, it's going to give you different information about campus life, how big it is, how selective the school is to get in. But what I want you to focus on for the sake of this conversation is the cost and aid. We talked earlier about direct costs plus indirect costs, but today we're going to look at the direct costs. So you have your in-state tuition and fees at the University of Alabama. Okay, and remember, we're in the state of Georgia. As I pull up my calculator, we're in the state of Georgia. So Alabama is out of state. So let's look at the tuition is $11,580. But you need to also add in room and board plus $11,012. So it's about $22,592 for in-state if you live in Alabama. But because we're in the state of Georgia, we need to add in out-of-state tuition and fees. So if we look at 31,050, that is our out-of-state tuition and fees, plus your room and board, $11,012. That's $42,062 per year. Per year. But when you're looking at these fees, remember, it's split by semester, fall and spring. So if you were to divide that in half, so it would be about 21,000 for fall, 21,000 for spring. And again, this is just a very rough estimate for the sake of you seeing how you will be able to compare costs and know if there's any additional fees that need to come out of your pocket, you'll have a good idea of how to figure it. So if you look at the University of Alabama, so that's about how much you're going to be paying. But then if you look at, let's see, who's this? University of Georgia. University of Georgia is $12,080 for tuition and fees. And because we're here in the state of Georgia, we don't have to look at out of state. So tuition plus room and board is $22,250 a year. Divide that by 2, fall and spring, it's about $11,000 per year. Now that doesn't include all of the fees that we talked about, those indirect costs. It's not including books or anything. So that's about roughly about how much you're looking at. And you do that same math for Kennesaw State University is what we chose here. So if you're looking at a rough estimate of tuition and fees, if you stay on campus, then you'll look at room and board. But if you're not going to stay on campus, you can see around about what the tuition and fees may cost. So as you're figuring that on your own, I'm going to get back to my practice lesson here. So again, you're going to compare the top 3 schools that you're interested in so that you can see a comparison. Once you have applied and been accepted into these schools, they each will send you a financial aid award letter. Let's pause here. If you qualify for the Hope Scholarship here in the state of Georgia, you cannot take the Hope Scholarship outside of the borders of Georgia, no matter how close the school may be. For instance, from where I live to Jacksonville State University, we're considered in state, but that's out of state, and Hope will not cross over. You cannot carry your Hope over. And it's like that for many other states as well that have any type of program such as that. So again, take a moment and look at the estimated cost. Start trying to calculate your out-of-pocket. And again, this is only a scenario that will help you to see how financial aid packages could work. So consider if you were awarded a scholarship, student loans, and there was a cost, you were to get $10,000 for the sake of math. For the sake of math, and I think we had already figured what it would say, $21,000 per semester. No, that was per year, $21,000. And you were awarded a $10,000 financial aid package. And it's $10,000. That's going to leave you about $11,000 that will need to be paid for the year. And again, if you divide 2, that would mean you would need to come out of another $5,000 on top of what you've been awarded with your financial aid package. So this is why it's so important to me that you take a look at this and you start making a plan. As you're making a plan for which school you go to, I really want you to make sure that it is a good fit for you. Not just a good fit physically. Yes, when you get there, we want that to be home. It's home for you. And we want you to really be comfortable. socially and academically, but also make sure it's the best financial fit for you because we want you to finish strong. So have a plan for how you're going to pay for it. For more information about how to calculate these fees or to do a college comparison, give us a call and I'll help you with that understanding. So why should I apply for scholarships? According to the Institute of College Access and Success, the average college graduate has acquired over $24,000 in student loans by the time they graduate. You can avoid being handed a huge tuition bill alongside your diploma if you plan properly. College costs way more than it used to. And for my parents that are watching, you can probably attest to that. If you were one that went to college, it has gone up exponentially. The more free money that you receive now, the less you will need to pay back in student loans. So let's get all the free money that we can, find those scholarships. Don't just find them, but I want you to apply for them and put your best foot forward to win them. So where do I look for scholarships? There are several places that you can look for scholarships. There are many, many, many out there, but you've got to be willing to do the work to find them. It can be tedious work. Sometimes it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but it is all worth it in the end. Some places that you can look, and I recommend that you looking, is we talked about Georgia Hope and those type of those state programs that offer scholarships or merit scholarships for those who meet academically. Check your high school counselor's office, your college and career offices, local clubs and organizations. If you know of any fraternities, any sort of sororities, faith-based organizations, your churches, your associations, and any type of faith-based, check with those to see if they offer any scholarships. You can also look at your local banks and credit union. If your parent or guardian happens to be working somewhere, sometimes employers offer scholarships to their workers who have students. Check the library. You'd be surprised at what's in your local library. There are all kinds of books that are in there that help you with understanding how to find scholarships, how to complete college admissions, and just reference books that will be able to help support you along this journey. Check your social media, check TikTok, check Instagram. Just put in the search what you're looking for. Be creative in how you put your words together. Be specific to you. If I were looking for a scholarship for me, I would say African American female with glasses, earrings. I don't know what type of combination would come up, but the whole point here is be creative in how you put your words together as you're describing yourself. Political science major, father with Alzheimer's, foster care student, whatever it is that is about you, take your story, pick it apart, put your words together in those search engines. You will be surprised at what you find that you could possibly qualify for in scholarships. You also want to check your school website. Always go to your counselor's websites. A lot of times they have scholarship newsletters that list all the local organizations that are offering scholarships. There's an app called Scholly. So if you go to scholly.com or you go to your app store, you can download an app called Scholly that does the exact same thing as I just described, but you're able to put your individual information in there. You can put your height, your weight, whatever it's asking for, and it will help to pair you with different scholarship opportunities. If you're attending an HBCU, I recommend that you go to the Thurgood Marshall website, go to the United Negro College Fund website. There are so many opportunities out there, and I don't want you to miss them. These are a few resources that I recommend. Peterson Scholarships, Grants, and Prizes. You can find this on Amazon. If you don't want to spend a lot of money, again, we're trying to save money because you got to go off to college. So go to the library and check it out. You'd be surprised what you find in it. For my students who are already in college and you're looking for more scholarship money to help with your tuition bill, there's a book by Marianne Reagan's called Scholarship Strategies for Students Already in College. And she gives you strategies similar to what I'm giving, but specific to those non-traditional students, those adult learners. So it's a great resource to have. Another great resource for those students who are already in college is 501 Ways for Adult Students to Pay for College by Jen and Kelly Tanabe. You may be able to find this one on YouTube or Barnes & Noble, but again, go to your local library. That's where I got that from. Go to your local library, check it out, read it, get the resources you need so that you can put your best foot forward. And another book that I recommend is Winning Scholarships for College. And again, that's another one by Marianne Reagan. Marianne Reagan's is a winner of more than $400,000 in scholarship money. So who better to listen to than someone that was able to earn that much in scholarship winnings? How much money is out there? Tens and thousands of dollars go unclaimed each year. Don't overlook the small ones. Don't thumb your nose up if it's a $50 scholarship, $150. They all add up. When you start looking at those indirect costs, those scholarships can help offset some of that. Books can be very, 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 very expensive. So if you're able to win a book stipend, go for it. Again, they all add up. Some scholarships may not have an updated website, but research and apply anyway. Approach it like a part-time job. Apply for multiple. It's not easy finding a job. It's not easy finding scholarships, but you got to be in it to win it. In order to win it, you got to go and find them and apply. So here's a couple of tips that I'd like you to consider. Make a list of all the scholarships you want to apply for. Keep your notebook or put it in your phone. List the name of the scholarship organization, the amount, the deadline. Remember, pay attention to the deadline and any contact information you may have in case you need to contact those that are offering the scholarship. Get involved in extracurricular activities. When I say this, it is a way to help set you apart from other students. Colleges and organizations, they love, of course, want to see that you are an academic scholar and that you're making great grades, but they also want to see that you're well-rounded and that you are able to contribute positively to the community or positively to the campus. So get involved in extracurricular activities. And as you're doing this, it's not so much about how many extracurricular activities and community service hours you've collected. What did you learn from it? So think about that. Think about what did you actually learn by volunteering at the animal shelter or by volunteering at the soup kitchen? Did you learn leadership skills? Did you learn team building? Anyway, we'll talk more about that on another day. Make sure that you get good grades. Your SAT and ACT scores, they can help set you apart. The higher your scores, the more money you could possibly win. The higher your GPA, you could win those merit scholarships because it's based off of academic. Remember, deadlines, don't wait to the last minute to complete that application. Anything can come up that could deter you. So don't wait to the last minute. Allow yourself time, hone in on those time management skills so that you're able to stay on top of it. Remember the deadlines. And also make sure you write a great essay. That essay is going to help those that are reading know you. They've never met you before. So what you put on that application, what you put in that essay is going to help them to know who you are. And you want it to be great. Don't forget letters of recommendation. If you have not developed a brag sheet is simply a sheet or a worksheet that lists information about you, tells your name, tells anything about you, your extracurricular activities, your grades. If you'd like a sample copy of a brag sheet, just contact me and I can shoot you one over. I have several of those that I can show you as a template. But these will help your recommenders know what to put in your recommendation letter. One of the things that I recommend is remembering that these are professionals and they're busy. And especially during this season, they are very busy because this is senior season. This is application season. Very busy time. So ask early. Ask early and make sure that you continue. Don't bug them, but continue to send them reminders and so that they can make sure that they have that to you timely. Try to ask several weeks before you actually need it to give them that time. And once you get that letter from that recommender, don't forget to say thanks. So who should you ask? You should ask your counselor. You should ask some of your teachers, not just your favorite teacher, but a teacher that can attest to your skills, your abilities, to your personality. But yes, you want to get someone that is going to write you a great letter, because again, when you're looking at when those that are reading your scholarships, those that are reading your application packets, they've never met you personally. They're taking other people's word for it. So choose someone that can write a good recommendation letter for you. You will need your recommendation letters for many of the scholarships that you apply for. So keep those handy. Beware of scams. So as you were looking for scholarships, there are scammers out there. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Trust your gut. If you look at it and say, something doesn't quite look right about this, you're probably right. Skip over it. If it asks for application fees, if it says for $19.95, I will send you an application, run. You should never pay for scholarship information or research. This is information you can do on your own. If you happen to pay someone to help you research scholarships, it shouldn't be to find it. It's probably for their labor. But I would ask questions, ask someone you trust to make sure that you're not getting into a situation that could come back to bite you. If it says you've been selected for scholarship guaranteed, that's a scam. There is no guarantee of a scholarship. Those are pretty much sweepstakes or something if you see something like that. But there's not a guarantee. I mean, no scholarship is guaranteed. If it says no essay, I probably wouldn't apply for that, because most scholarships, most legitimate scholarships, are going to require some sort of essay. Writing essays that win. As you're beginning to write those essays, prepare early, brainstorm, know your audience, research the organization that's giving the scholarship and past recipients so that you can see if you're going to be a good fit for them as well. On that application, answer the question. If it looks like something silly, you're like, why are they asking me that? Answer the question. Give them what you're looking for or what they're looking for. I have seen so many students to get passed over for scholarships because they did not complete the application in its entirety. So make sure that you complete it. Follow the instructions. When you're writing your thesis statement or your essay, make sure you have a good, solid thesis statement. You want to grab their attention. That's going to make them read more and want to learn more about what's in your essay. In your essay, you want to show that you're well-rounded. That's going back to those extracurricular and community service hours that I spoke about. Not so much about, I had 410 hours of community service. What did you learn from that? So show that you're well-rounded, not just a straight A student, but you're able to be a great contributor to your community. You want to build on your accomplishments, and you definitely want to proofread. I have seen so many applications get pushed in file 13 or the trash because they did not proofread. So proofreading is very important. Have someone to read your essay. A lot of times it sounds like it makes sense to you while you're reading, but sometimes we can be so close to it that we may miss something. So ask a parent or a friend, someone that you can trust that will give you good constructive feedback. Because again, we want you to submit an essay that's going to win some money. Here's another resource that you could possibly consider. It's called the College Application Essay. It's a book that I've used. I was able to find this on Amazon, and they have it on other bookstores and platforms, but it's the College Application Essay. It's only about $12, $14, but it's a good investment. for you, especially if you're going to win hundreds and thousands of dollars of scholarships. So consider looking at not just this one, but there are several out there, but whatever resources that you may need in order to help you be successful. I've already mentioned the D word, deadlines, but I'm going to say it again. One of the most important things to keep in mind are deadlines when you're preparing to apply for scholarships. Start your search early so that you do not miss the deadlines. Deadlines are so important. And again, what sets you apart from everybody else? Remember, there are hundreds of other students that are applying for the same scholarships that you are. Think about all the seniors in your hometown and all of those local scholarships that are listed. What sets you apart from your friend, from your classmate? Why you? Remember, you need to apply for multiple scholarships in order to see a good return. So just applying for one, again, no scholarship award is guaranteed, but you still need to apply. You never know. I have seen so many scholarship applications that are not fulfilled, and there's money sitting there because some people just didn't apply for it. But there's also been scholarship opportunities where only one person may submit their application and they may win. So that could happen to you, but also know that you're probably going to have to do multiple in order to see a good return. Think of it as applying for a job. Put your best foot forward. I want you to stand out just like my little blue man right here on the left. So what is he doing? He's standing on his head. I'm not saying you have to stand on your head in your application and your essays, but your efforts should show, and it should make whoever's reading stand up to attention and say, hey, I want to give my money to that person. So what if I'm not awarded? If you're not awarded, don't give up. Keep researching and keep applying. Year after year, apply. Seek other financial aid options. You may have to take out some loans. You may have to take out a Parent Plus loan or something. Again, I don't endorse you going into debt, into too much debt, but if you have a solid plan in place, it can help to offset some of that. But if you don't win them, if you're not awarded, make sure you're saving your money and prepare to pay the difference. Remember, it's not a race. It's not a race once you get to college. So do what you need to do, put back a little bit at a time. If you're not awarded and you don't have enough, there are other ways around it. And me and many other adults are available to help you figure it out because we want to see you reach your goal. You have done so good so far, especially if you're a senior that's watching this today. All of my seniors, I am so very proud of you. You have made it to your senior year. You have started applying, and those applications and award letters are starting to roll in. And I am so proud of you. And I know your teachers, your counselors, your family is proud of you. Don't give up now. Let's keep going. Is college worth it? Absolutely. Yes, it is. College is worth it. Did you know that individuals who complete a degree or certificate program have a better chance at earning more money than someone with a high school diploma? So going back to our exercise that we started out with this at the beginning of this presentation, where we took a look into the future, 10 years from now, where we want to see ourselves. I want to see you with a good job, a good paying job. And remember, when you're looking at college, college is a training program to help you to prepare for whatever career that you're going to be working in. So yes, it's an opportunity for you to go and make friends, for social life, but this is training. It's a training program. So think of it as a training program. Everybody doesn't need a 4-year college degree. Everybody doesn't need a master's degree or a doctorate degree. But we want you to make sure that you're getting connected to whatever credential that you need that's going to help you to put your best foot forward. I'm happy to talk to anyone one-on-one if you have any questions about how to find a college that's a good fit for you, how to come up with a good financial plan that's going to help to offset some of the costs of college. I'm here to help you. Just contact me at harvestingscholars.org. set up an appointment. I'm happy to set up a free consultation with you. And remember, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I'm here to help you when you need it. Have a good night.